welcome to Bears Banter. My name is Bernard Muhammad. Tonight on the broadcast, we have Guy Moore, Keith Flournoy, Jay Beasley. Sitting in as a guest is Jason Brosda and Tammy Harris. How's everybody doing tonight?
Great.
What's going on, family? How y'all doing?
Good.
That's good to hear. Yeah, hey, we have one of the most important weeks in football, which is Chicago and the Packers rivalry. You know, do any of y'all have any memories of some rivalries in this game that, you know, kind of why you hate the Packers?
Don Majkowski. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't even want to talk about it because it make me mad thinking about it when he beat us like that. It wasn't even. It was a last minute throw too, Buster.
Chester Marcole, the field goal kicker. They kicked the ball. They blocked the kick. He got it and ran it in for a touchdown.
Mm.
I was
Charles
gonna say, I was gonna say, yeah, I was gonna say the Charles Martin thing, and you know back then it was really a rivalry because you had Forrest Gregg and you had Mike Dicker going against each other. They hated each other, you know. What Chuck Cecil, the safety from the Packers? I remember I hated him. He was a good player, but he was a hard hitter, and he always brought his best against the Bears. The fondest memory I have of that rivalry is the block field goal right after Sweetness pass, and they wind up winning that game. They wind up winning that game in that ball. But you know, it's really not a rivalry no more. The rivalry thing is for the fans. It's for us. You know, these guys that's playing for the Bears right now, half of them weren't even born. You know, back in the memories that we're talking about. So, but it's a rivalry nonetheless. We've played the most games against each other in the NFL in history. But you know, it's not a rivalry when it's so lopsided. But that's a whole nother story.
Well, head to head is not a rivalry. I agree, but the Bears have two more victories than the Packers do as the all-time NFL leader. So
right.
Still keep that pad. It used to be like 30 or 40 on top of them. So
okay. The one that stuck out
for most 30 years to catch up. So we were kicking their butt for a long time too, because it took them 30 years to catch up.
Yeah, it goes in cycles.
And I don't have enough time to tell y'all all the reasons I hate the Packers. So
okay.
Yeah, we know. We know.
The one that sticks out the most for me was the Johnny Knox, Devin Hester fake out that got called.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The refs so much that they called the penalty on it. And that was that's what hurts me the most.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
You know, one of the ones that actually recently that burned me up. It was a play where there was a ball laying on the ground, and none of the players picked it up, and it looked like the Bears they had some momentum. They probably looked like they could have won that game. And Aaron Rodgers runs and picks the ball up, and the Bears ended up getting eliminated that game. And I want to say that might have been the Green Bay won that game in advance to the playoff, because I think if they had lost that game, Green Bay might have been eliminated that year. That irks me. Another thing about irks me about Green Bay, I can remember in the early 2000s, I was in Wisconsin, and I was coming out of a rest area, and I was getting in my car, and some other people was getting in their car. And so I had on a Bears hat, and they looked at me. But the interesting thing, they didn't say anything. As soon as we drove down the ramp, when we both got in that car, they stopped blowing their horn. So I'm thinking maybe I left some on the car, and they flipped the bird to me and went, "That's the Bears."
Well, in my mind, that's appropriate behavior for people from Green Bay. So tell them to come on, let's do it.
And I'm like, wow, you know. Like y'all are dumb.
And you know what though, Kendall Vildor can make up for last year, because that one play where Aaron Rodgers like there about 20-25 seconds and threw it downfield, and you look up and they pan the camera, there's a guy by himself, all of a sudden you see him running. Oh man.
We got some bad memories. You know, the October October 31st game against the Packers on Halloween that year, where Brett Favre just went nuts on us in the rain. So we got some bad memories of this team. But when you can't beat them, you have to suck it up and try again, and that's where we at right now.
Okay. Hey, so let's start off the program. I'd like to thank everybody who's watching us on YouTube and Facebook tonight. And if you're watching us on Facebook, if you can, come over to YouTube and watch us on YouTube. And click the subscribe button if you're on YouTube. But anyway, hey, anybody watch the game last night where the Chargers were playing the Kansas City Chiefs?
I didn't watch it.
Now, first thing, I hated that watching it on Prime. I hated that. Ooh. I mean, when I tried to did anything to maybe rewind or anything like that, I know some of it is the streaming part of it, but it seemed like it took forever for me to get the picture back up on the screen. Anybody else experienced that last night in that game?
Well, I experienced a lot of pausing in the game, but I can say that's some real side HD. I don't know whatever it is, but it was, to me, it was like crystal clear on my TV. I was like, wow. I'm like, this is modern technology at its finest. But outside of that, it looks like they getting ready to do all the Thursday night games on Prime. So
something that said Thursdays were strictly on Prime.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but I mean, I like the picture, but like you said, Bernard, I did experience that little circle. I'm like, okay, the game is paused, and then the next thing I know, the next play is, I'm like, okay, I missed the last play, and didn't want to try to rewind it because that was going to take forever. But as far as the picture was crystal clear.
It took me about 10 minutes to find where the game was showing. I was used to it being on the NFL Network or ESPN or what have you. It was clear to me that it was on Amazon Prime. But once I figured it out, I was able to go there. And I had the same experience that Jay had with those circles, and it's just stopping streaming. But I know that Amazon is going to get that cleared up because they're pretty good with the software business.
What up, Mo man? What up, Mo man? I thought you was gonna be on here. That's the only reason. I had to shake you down a little bit.
Yeah, Mo is a Michigan fan. Hey, okay, now let's move into this week's game. So that would have been my game of the week, that particular game, which I kind of surprised how it played out. I was actually going with the Chargers in that game, and when he threw that pick six, the weird thing when I was watching that play was my screen was actually buffing blank at the time, and so as soon as it came out the buffing, I see him throwing his pick six, but it's moving extremely slow. So I'm thinking like, okay, this can't be real, right? Because he threw it right to him. But anyway, that was my game of the week. And anybody else got a game of the week that they want to highlight that's coming up this week, or is it that game or the Bears game?
The Bucks and the Saints. That's the game of the week for me, because the Saints have owned the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the last couple of years, and I'm going to be interested to see how that's going to shake out. Jameis Winston coming back off his injury. He played pretty well last week, and of course, this is I'm assuming this is Tom's last hurrah. So that's my game of the week.
That's your game of the week, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to go with Jay. I mean, although it would have been yesterday's game, but going forward for Sunday, I'd have to go with Bucks and Saints for that game of the week, because that could be really interesting game, seeing what the Saints actually can do with this new coaching staff and Jameis at the helm. If he's assuming he's, as long as he's healthy, that could be a tough team to.
Okay. Hey, let me see if I can bring up that schedule. Hold on. That's not it. Let me bring that out. That's not one of these. I got the game of the week. Let me see if it's this one. No, that's Tammy's thing. Okay.
I want to see New England and Pittsburgh. New England and Pittsburgh, I know for reasons that's had nothing to do with really This is more sentimental stuff. I just want to see how good Mitch is going to do, and I just want to see how bad New England is.
Because they bad. Because you know what? They bad. Because if they lose this week, if they lose this week, New England, y'all, they may potentially start off 0-4 if you look at their schedule. So I'm interested to see how they're going to respond. Mac Jones, he missed practice yesterday, but he did practice today. So that's a good one too, guy. That's a good one. So we're going to see how, like we say, who's on the zoo. And Bernard, I know you was talking about the Bears against the Patriots coming up in the foreseeable future. And you was like, that's the game I really don't know about. I'm like, the Patriots might not. Belichick might not be able to pull that rabbit out the hat this year because their team not looking good. I mean, I know it's, like I said, overreaction after week 1, but just looking at them last week, they didn't look all that good.
Yeah, and you know what? They really don't have an offensive coordinator either. I mean, that's the interesting thing too, that they didn't go with an offensive coordinator when they lost their offensive coordinator. Hey, Tammy, do you have a game of the week?
My game of the week is always my Bears, but
Okay.
and it'll really be the game of the week if we beat Green Bay. Then I'll be ecstatic. But I was kind of going with last night too, because I was going back and forth with my pick in my football pool, back and forth, and I ended up going with the Chiefs. But I was like, gosh, like I should have switched. But I thought that was going to be a good game.
Right. Hey, so we're gonna wrap this up with the segment. Oh, Plank, you didn't get yours. I'm sorry. What you got, Plank?
Yeah, come on, fellas. There's no way we cannot have the game of the week being the oldest rivalry in the NFL. Bears versus Packers. The Bears have a new general manager, a new coach, and that new owner that plays for the Packers is still playing for them. So we're gonna see whether or not they're owners this week. I'm sorry we got to go out and hit the Packers in the mouth. Come with this new hits principle and at least get your respect back, even if they win the game. So I'm all in on Bears and Packers.
Okay, y'all in on Bears and Packers. Hey, what about the 2 for 2 that we do now? Who are your top teams this week? 2 top teams and your 2 bottom teams. My 2 top teams are, let me look at my list. It's Chiefs and the Bills are my top team this week. I had to go with you, Jay, when you said the Chiefs last week. And my bottom teams is the Texans, and the Jaguars.
Well, my top 2 again is still until somebody beat them. It's Buffalo number 1 and the Chiefs number 2, and my bottom 2 teams are the Jets and the Jaguars.
I got almost the same thing, except I got the Jets and New England. The bottom.
Oh wow!
Hey, why not? It feels good.
Well, my top 2 team, I'm going with the Bills, and number 2, I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. I still think they're a juggernaut. So let's see how that works. The bottom 2, I've got to go with the Texans, and my other bottom feeding team is the Jets.
Jets.
I wanted to say the Lions, but they look a little bit better. The Lions might bring something today.
Right.
So
right.
All right. Anybody else have a top 2, bottom 2, 2 for 2?
I'm saying the same 2 I said, the same ones I said last week, and that's the Bills and the Chiefs and the Jets and Detroit. We'll see if Detroit proves me wrong.
Okay.
Well, I mean, this week I get a chance for my top 2 teams to win. That's my top team is the Bears. The second team is whoever's beating the Packers. So that's going to be the Bears.
For the Bears. There you go.
So what do the Bears need to do to win this game? I mean, this is one of the oldest rivals. Who's that, Jay? I'm sorry, let me come back to you, Jay. What you got?
No. Braza. Jason.
Jay.
The other Jay.
Oh, Braza. Okay. Jason, I'm sorry.
No worries. I was going to say the Bills and the Chiefs as well for the top end. And I was kind of back and forth on the bottom end. It's with the Texans and the Colts tying, it's kind of hard not to choose them for just that alone. But the Jets and the Jaguars.
He said the bottom 2 of the Packers and the Buckeyes.
What's that? The Texans and the Colts, yeah.
Hey, you see that moment? Moment said,
Mo
was up on you.
That's okay.
shots
That's
fired.
okay. That's
Hey.
okay. Hey, this is a PG show, so I'm gonna leave him alone right now. But that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. But we'll leave that for another time.
Mo's top two out of Chiefs and the Charger. Okay, hey, what do the Bears need to do to beat the Packers? I mean, this is the oldest rival in football. Anybody got any suggestions? What do we need to do to pull this off? I mean, they didn't, like Aaron Rodgers said last year, they didn't kind of own us in recent years. So what do we need to do?
Run, and run.
Run better.
Set up the pass.
Right.
You know, and on defense, it's gonna be really, really interesting, man, because I just think it's a whole lot of cats in that locker room on both sides of the ball and in the whole organization that absolutely despise them. But to have a guy, when you feel defenseless, when a guy comes on the media and say, hey, or go to your fans, I own you. And then you look at them and they're like, yeah, they trying to get some get back. So I just really think if they just go ahead and don't abandon the run, and they just, once they don't abandon the run, they ran it, 37 times last week? If they run it down their throat, force them to stop them. Now the play action works. Now all the other stuff works. And let's just roll the dice and see what happens. But I want to see 4 sacks. I want to see 5. We got to do one better than Minnesota.
Now, Jason, what was you just saying? It sounded like you were saying run too.
Yeah, I was saying run, but they need to run better than they did last week. Now,
Yeah,
it was tough with the rain and everything to get going, but I think I don't know what the weather was supposed to be. I heard something about possible rain on Sunday night, but hopefully it's not nearly as bad as it was Sunday. But they need to definitely run a lot better. And I'd actually like to see, when they drop back to pass, I'd like to see more of a play action a little bit more often than I did on Sunday, because I don't remember seeing much play action until the St. Brown touchdown. Before that.
Okay. Anybody else? What do the Bears need to do to win this game? What you have, Mike?
I definitely agree with Jason. They do need to run better. I think that zone scheme is better suited to Herbert than it is Montgomery. For whatever reason, he hasn't necessarily picked up how to hit those holes and where to look for where the holes are going to be. I think the Bears' offensive line needs to continue on what they just built up last week. Whether people realize it or not, the Bears' offensive line was like the highest rated in the NFL last week.
Yeah.
So everybody talking about how bad they are and how much they suck. All they're doing is showing up and hitting people in the mouth. Then lastly, the Bears have to stop the run. I think the Bears' run defense and their interior defense is the weakest part of the defense. So I'm hoping they show up and they show something different. But those are my major concerns.
Okay. Yeah, I think the Bears are going to have to put pressure on Aaron Rodgers, take advantage of that he has 3 linemen that are questionable of playing. We're not sure if they're going to play, but put pressure on him, make him uncomfortable, make his receivers uncomfortable. They may be lacking a little confidence because they had a lot of drops last week. So let's see if we can kind of exploit that angle and run the ball. And like Lovie Smith said, we get off the bus running. Let's just get off the bus running. And that should be in our favor.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Oh, go ahead, Jay.
No, go ahead, Tammy. Go ahead.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say get off the bus running. That's what I was going to say. And, guys, I was going to say like at least 4 to 8 sacks. I want to see Aaron Rodgers on his back repeatedly. I want them to clobber him multiple times and put pressure on him. Like, don't let him get comfortable. Make him lose some of that cockiness that he has about, where he thinks they are, because the tide is changing. Like, we had a run for a long time. Green Bay had their run. It's time for us to come back around. So in the very near future, I believe that we're going to go through another period of dominating Green Bay. They had their period. Now I think we're going to come back. I think they need to protect Justin Fields. He's doing better, but he needs to not hold on to the ball so long. So and to look for the plays that are there so that he doesn't have to do so much on the run, hopefully. And just the defense just put as much pressure on Aaron Rodgers as they can and actually get to him at least 4 times, but I'm hoping more.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the key to winning this game is going to be on defense. They got to stay disciplined because y'all know Aaron Rodgers is the #1 quarterback that will get you to jump offside. This defense has got, last week they had 5 penalties, which is good. I've been applauding them for, their discipline overall, offense and defense, as far as penalty wise. But this week they need to, they need to be disciplined on defense. And because I'm telling y'all right now, I ain't no Swami or anything like that. But I'm telling y'all, the first play that the Packers are going to run, they're going to go right back to Christian Watson down the field. Mark it here. I'm telling y'all, that's how it's going to start. Because that's the cockiness that Aaron Rodgers has. His whole thing was like, the first play of the game last week, I went down the field, 75 yards, threw him a bomb, and he dropped it. Well, I'm playing against the Bears, the team that I own. So I'm going to do this again. And I'm telling y'all, that's they coming out the gate with that. And so the Bears need to be disciplined, stay on sides, because, Aaron Rodgers is good for the free play. And to me, that's the key. I ain't even thinking about the offense. All I'm thinking about right now is the defense. They need to stay disciplined, read their keys, and be able to stop Green Bay's running game, because after that pass, they're going to come out lathering up the run. That's what they're going to do.
You know what?
He has no confidence in his wide receiver. Allen Lazard is supposed to be back this week, but, is he going to be 100%? So the key for the Bears to win this game is all on defense.
Charlie Brown could kick an 80-yard field goal if Lucy didn't snatch the football away. You know what? They've been talking all week. I don't know if it's a ruse or whatever, but they were just talking about, well, they didn't run as much. They said, we're going to run a lot more. I think Aaron Rodgers is on the arrogant side, but with the arrogance, it's fine if you got faith in your receivers. These dudes was dropping balls like, ugh. It would be interesting though if they threw a long pass. But what I'd like to see is a long pass and a pick six. It's like, yeah, throw it again.
Yeah. But what I like is they got Allen Williams going against Green Bay. He's actually been a defensive coordinator against Green Bay for a number of other teams, and notably Minnesota. So he does a little bit better against Aaron Rodgers than people might think. One of the things I thought was Lemon Hood Stinson when he says that you go offenses against the coordinators and defenses against the coordinator. So I think the Bears might have a bit of a better chance than we're giving them. But again, some of that could be hopeful thinking. But I think the defensive coordinator being on the Bears is going to help. And I definitely think that Getsy has some things that he can offer because he knows about some of the tendencies of Aaron Rodgers as well.
Okay. And ESB was a receiver for them too, right? Last year. ESB. Equinemius St. Brown was a receiver on the Packers. So
yeah, but he didn't catch anything. So what?
But you also
he knows the scheme too.
And you also got Patrick Lucas, who they made an honorary captain this week.
Right.
So this game with Getsy, I ain't really counting Equinemius St. Brown. I'm not really counting him. He knows some tendencies of their DBs, I guess. But him and Patrick Lucas, I think they're gonna be key. I think they're going to really be key with a lot of mental information that they can give to the team in order for them to try to scheme something together for the Bears to win this game. But, we'll see.
Okay. Hey, when we was offline, we were talking about some of the Bears fans. We have a mix. Every place have a mix. You have some fans that are positive about this week. You got some fans that are negative. So what we did in the Bears Banter group is we actually took a poll to see what was the sentiments of the Bears. And Tammy, if you want to take this, go for it. Let us know what was the results this week.
So, it didn't show up. Oh, the thing, the chart didn't show up.
Nope, it's another page. Third.
Don't go there yet.
Okay. No, the chart ain't showing.
Oh, I don't know why the chart didn't show, but we had 48 people vote. 43 of those people picked the Bears. So 90% of our members picked the Bears. All of the women who voted picked the Bears. Just want to point that.
Praise the Lord.
So even though this may be a tough game, I don't know. Green Bay is not looking like the Green Bay that people thought. You know, they have some vulnerabilities, and I think the Bears are on an upswing. So I think that the fans are ready for us to win. So we got some of our tried and true people, like from last year. Michael Baker is going to always pick the Bears. You know, we have Michael Carruthers, we have Mia, we have Jay, we have some new people, some new names that I don't remember from last year voting. Somebody named Derek Smith and Will Henderson. But Pam was from last year. We got 2 Pams. Roderick C. was from last year. So these are tried and true Bears fans who went with the Bears. And we only had a few stragglers, 5 stragglers.
Let me go to the next one.
Yeah, 5 stragglers who decided to go with Green Bay.
Treason.
No, Martin, tell me it ain't true.
Jason
Arnold.
Jason, that's you, right?
That's me.
Jason Arnold too.
Mark Chin and Tony Wells, I think is his last name, but Tony ain't no Bears fan, so he don't even count.
He don't count because he crying about Dak Prescott. Oops.
He a Dallas fan. He don't count.
Val, how you think down, doggy?
That is funny. That is funny.
And Claude Bassett, class of 82 limb blower. Thank you.
Come on.
Your classmate. Don't shoot when you see the cheese on their head.
I'm a sneak in Lambo. I'm driving down to Wisconsin. I'm gonna go in the Bears locker room and take a Crayola crayon and say, "I own you." So they see it when they walk in the door. Give them some, motivation.
A little bulletin board material.
Whatever it takes.
Bernard, next T-shirt you make. See, I don't even want his face on it. I don't have to wear his face. I'm trying to see how you can put Aaron Rodgers on a T-shirt without his face and put "I own you." But I don't want to have him on my body.
No, I take a helmet and just put it on his back and just have him turn over and bend over. Just say "I own you." To kick him in his butt.
Y'all some violent people, man. What's up?
Hey, y'all
violence is Green Bay. It's different.
Y'all gave me y'all predictions last week, so I wanted to let the people who are out there watching on Facebook and YouTube to see how did each one of us our season prediction for the Bears. Guy has the Bears going 10-7 this year. Tammy has the Bears going 10-7. I had the Bears going 9-8. Jay has the Bears going 9-8. Plank has the Bears going 9-8, and Quick has the Bears going 7-10. Hey, Jason, how do you have the Bears going?
I was just getting ready to say, ask Jason.
Jay and I have been back and forth about this for the last couple of weeks, but I picked them 5-12. And that was mainly just based on their talent alone, and the fact that I kind of was back and forth. I was 4-13, thinking plus or minus 2, but I decided to stick with 5-13. 5-12, just because I just don't see that talent holding up over the course of the year. And some of these guys are going to go down at some point, and I just don't think they have the depth to keep it rolling.
Okay. It's not going to be that bad.
Hey, so with the Bears team this year,
I'm happy for it to be much better than that. If they end up 7-10, 9-8, I'm gonna enjoy the hell out of that throughout the season. But I'm a Cubs fan too, so going into this Cubs season, this is how I'm going into this Bears season. No expectations. Don't know many of these players. We'll have to wait and see what actually transpires. But like I said, I just don't think their talent is strong enough to carry them past 5-6 wins throughout the year.
We're gonna
And
keep
see, I
bringing
don't
you
think
out.
we know what we got yet.
I'm sorry.
I don't think we fully know what we got yet.
And that's absolutely true. But I know a lot of these guys, 15 rookies made the team this year. I mean, like I said, I think, don't get me wrong, that the try-hard's only going to take you so far. I liked what I saw last week with them playing through the whole game. But overall, watching it, I never got to go back and watch it a second time. But just looking at some of those numbers, San Francisco's defense was just walking all over them during the first half, and the way they coached them this year to have that stamina level up to where it is, that's what helped get them through that game. I just, like I said, when eventually, fingers crossed nobody goes down, but that the pass blocking for the offense has got me worried about Justin's health for the entire year. But the rest of it, if they get into the depths of their backups and whatnot, I'm just not sure. I don't have the confidence that they'll be able to keep winning games later in the year. I think they're going to be that team that stays, and if they lose, they're going to be within 7 points. They're going to be that team this year, 3, 7, maybe 10 points. But like I said, we'll see what happens.
Okay. So Jason has the Bears 5 and what's that? 5 and 12.
5 and 12. I just know. No, I'm just saying. I just know. We was predicted to lose last week before the season started. We was predicted to lose this week before the season started. I said if the Bears go 2-2 in the first 4 games, we might have something. The Bears could possibly go now 2-0 and win 2 games that they weren't supposed to win. And then you got the Texans and I believe the Giants after that. So, like I said off camera, that's why they play the games. And looking at their schedule, and granted, Jason has a point. The try hard thing only goes so far. You don't know how long that's going to last. But with this coaching staff and with the young players that they have, which I think will contribute a whole lot this season, and it's going to be one of those things where they don't, most of these guys don't know how to lose. You got Brisker, he came from Penn State. They don't lose. You got Kyler Gordon, they don't lose. So they don't know nothing about losing. So they coming into this whole thing like, hey, we win in every game we play. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But right now, I like what I'm seeing. And with this schedule that we have, it could possibly be one of those things where, again, I said on the show earlier that this is one of those seasons where somebody gonna go from worst to first. I'm not saying it's gonna be the Bears, but I'm just saying this is one of those seasons when you look at everybody's schedule, somebody going worst to first.
No, I agree with you. The thing about it too, Jay, though, is the way I look at it, because based on our work schedule, I don't always get to. I got to watch the game usually after I get home. And I try my best to avoid knowing win or lose, tie, wherever they're at during any part of the game. It ain't easy, but I do my best to try to do that. And even if I know they lose when I get home, I still want to watch the game because I want to see how they play.
How they lost, right?
I want to see how they lost. I want to know if it was a, good, and a solid effort, and they lost just because they came up short, or they get blown out. But I still want to see how they play. And just going off of last week's game, the defense was encouraging. Their run defense was a little rough to watch right off because they gave up a lot of yards.
Yeah, they did.
On the ground. And with these 2 backs coming up, Jones and Dillon, those are 2 solid, strong running backs that kind of scare me, which is part of the reason why I picked them to win, the Packers to win. And I'm back and forth about who's going to win this game because I know they got 3 guys on the offensive line that are likely not to play, at least 2 of them for sure. But that offense, I didn't see much from that offense. Now I know it's a outlier game simply because of the weather. It's very tough to judge anything off of that. I mean, both Trey and Justin, they had some bright spots, they had some bad spots, and like I said, I mean, I want to see some more play action, some more rollouts, which I didn't really see a whole lot of. I remember watching that St. Brown touchdown, and when they did the play and when he did the play action, I was like, whoa, I ain't seen that. And I keep hearing all this talk about this is the way they got to play. This is the way. Now I know you can't do that every game, obviously, or every play, obviously, but to wait till the middle of the second or third quarter to do that just was like, why did it take so long to do that? You know,
right.
He's still trying to figure it out. Don't get me wrong, but and then just that last week's game, I'm putting that off to the side, holding it to the side. I can't use that game to judge where they go forward from
as
here.
an outlier. Yeah,
too difficult of a game to really judge from that.
Yeah, you know one thing about the NFL, when you look at the NFL, because you only have 17 games, all those games count. You know, unlike baseball, right? And so it doesn't matter how you get that W, right? It still counts. Hey, what you have playing before we move to the injury report?
Yeah, I got five games to bring to everybody's attention, just in case you weren't sure who the Bears are playing against. Giants, Cowboys, Texans, Commanders, Jets. Stop.
Yep.
We've already run a game that nobody thought us to win.
Hey, but you know what though? I think that we all, even watching games and stuff like that, I mean, I think a lot of us have always watched all the games, have a pretty much firm grasp of what we see and what we understand. But then there's that other element. The element is attrition. You know, it could be injuries. It could be guys are tired. It could be just one of them games. It's not your game. My reason for 10-7 is this. Last year, as we were talking off the camera, the Bears had 3 and maybe a possible 4 games that they could have won if they were right there, that they lost. They had a coach that didn't know what the heck he was doing. This year, got a lot of rookies, but guys are buying in. Guys are trying to establish themselves. And just like everybody else has said, you can't use that last game because that last game was like a roller skate game. And it's like, true enough, both sides had to deal with the same element, the same situation. I believe, just like you guys were talking to last week, that the key to winning that game were the adjustments that they made in the second half. Now that we have a coaching staff who's come from winning organizations and know how to win, they'll be in situations where, and all the drills that they're doing puts them there. But with the other guys, let's see, Jets, Falcons, Cowboys, Patriots, Commanders, Giants, Texans, I could conceivably see us, if it goes the way it goes, if we beat the Packers, we could conceivably go 4-0.
Interesting. I'm going to bring up this here. We missed. Okay. Let's look at the notable injuries. Okay, the Bears, Velus Jones Jr. is out. And I may need some help with this. Anybody can read this other side for me because I'm having a problem seeing it.
You got Alan Lazard, who's questionable, and if he come back, how is he 100%? Which would be key for Rodgers because that's the one wide receiver that he actually trusts. You got David Bakhtiari, he's questionable, but he's been out back and forth since last year, coming off his surgery. You got L. John Jenkins, who's the starting right tackle. He's questionable. And then you got John Runyon Jr., who's the left guard. He's questionable. So that's three starting linemen. I know they called a couple of people up. They promoted a couple of people off their practice squad earlier this week, offensive linemen, because they just don't know if those guys are going to be able to go. So now you're talking about.
Was it Jenkins or Runyon that had the concussion? I forgot.
No, Runyon. John Runyon had the concussion. Bakhtiari and Jenkins practicing on a limited basis, but it's going to be interesting. With Lazard having an ankle injury, good that they're playing Lambeau because if they were playing on AstroTurf, he may not possibly play the game. So, we just got to see what he got. We can't go by that. You never know. Hey, maybe Green Bay scores a few points. Maybe we score a few more.
Okay. So, hey, here's our record. Right now, Guy is 1-0. Quick is 0-1. I'm 1-0. Jay 1-0. Tammy 1-0. Plank 1-0. Mo is 1-0. What's your record, Jason?
0-1.
0-1. Okay, so Jason, Quick are the only ones that are 0-1. They off us. So what? Hey, so are y'all ready? Are y'all ready to get y'all picks, or y'all still need a little time to think about it?
I told y'all the last couple years, the Bears could be the Care Bears. They could be the worst team in the history of the NFL. I will never, ever, ever pick the Packers over the Bears. That's just me. It's just a personal. So 24-17 Bears.
24-17 Bears. Who's up next?
I'll go.
Okay.
Bears 23, Packers 20. And at the end of the day, as long as the Bears win 2-0, that's all I care about.
2-0.
There you go.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna go. This one I've been going back and forth all day, and I hate picking the Packers. And I've been going back and forth all day. And originally I was saying it was gonna be a low scoring game, but what I'm going to say is Bears 24, Packers 20.
Wow.
What?
Wow. Go ahead, Tim.
Oh, y'all want me to go?
Yeah.
Well, y'all know this is a no-brainer. Jesus could come back and tell me to pick the Packers, and I'm saying no.
No, I've been a heathen, so I might have to take that deal. I might make word Jesus. Oh, Packers.
I will never, I'm with God, I will never, ever in life pick the Packers. I don't care if we're playing with 5 people with broken legs and 3 people with concussions and 2 people with back injury. I don't care. I will never in life ever pick the Packers. So I'm gonna go with the Bears. And I was gonna go with your score that you just gave, Bernard, 24-20.
Okay.
Bears always against the Packers, no matter what.
Okay. Let me jump to one of the Facebook users. Mark Chin. Mark has the Packers 24-17. He said, great point. He agreed with me. We will win 2 games that we shouldn't win and lose 2 we shouldn't win. I expect the Packers young receivers to play much better than they did last week. Thanks, Mark, for your input. And she hit you
Mark
on the Benedict Arnold list.
Like Mike Marks to me a little bit. Mark is starting to sound like Mike Marks. Come on now, bro.
Hey, did you hear what Mike?
Wait, what was Mark's pick last week?
Mark is 0-1.
So he about to be 0-2.
He about to be 0-2. I think the stat is 15. Only 15% of the teams that start 0-2 make the playoffs. So Mark, you're not gonna make the playoff if you start off 0-2. Jay, we got you, Jay.
Which one? Me or Brosnan?
Oh, Jason. Let's go with Jason.
All right,
Yeah,
so I'm gonna. Believe you me, Tammy, it hurts when I do this. I don't want to do it, but I gotta be realistic and go with my head, my gut, and I'm picking the Packers to win it. But it's gonna be 17-14.
17-14, Jason. Okay. And what about you, Jay?
I've been going back and forth all day on this. You know, Packers lost last week, just as they did last year. They got blew out last year in game 1. They got blew out this year in game 1. After that, they came back and won 7 straight. A home opener, Sunday night, Lambeau Field, bright lights, 15 rookies, 27.
Give me that day back. I need to add J name to the traders.
27 new, 27 new players on this team outside of the rookies. Aaron Rodgers is 23-5 against the Bears in his career. And as much as I don't want to do it, and I hope I'm wrong, I'm going with the Packers. And initially, I said it was going to be a blowout. But I'm going 17-13 Packers.
There's some key differences from last year. We got a completely different coaching staff. We had an idiot coach last year.
And I totally agree. I totally agree. I just think that with the Packers losing last week and they opening their home on a Sunday night, like I said, 23-5 against Aaron Rodgers is 23-5 against the Bears. The last time we beat the Packers was in 2018 at the end of the season. The clinch our playoffs. I was there to celebrate, but I just think and don't get me wrong. I think the Bears are going to show up, but I just think it's going to be too much. It's going to be too much. Like I said, I think the game going to start off with a big play on offense for Green Bay, and then what's going to happen? They're going to dial it down, and they're going to run the football with Dylan and the other kid, and I just think it's going to be just a tad bit too much for us.
I got to build on Jay a little bit. It's like with what Aaron has done in his career, not just against the Bears, but just in his career.
It's hard.
He's got these young receivers. He's going to make the adjustment that those guys actually catch the ball. And I think with these guys down, they're going to get to them and they're going to rattle them. But that's why I'm calling it low with 17-14. And I'll just make a comment too, though, on the "I own you" comment. I never looked at that as him saying he owned the Bears. He owned the Bears fans.
Exactly.
He lives rent free.
Don't own me.
Because
he lives rent free.
I'll show him who owns.
And he knows.
Tammy, I got it real quick, Tammy. 10 receptions, 141 yards, 1 touchdown. You could do the math on it to know who I'm talking about, and that's the biggest difference.
Hey, you know what? I'm having a flashback from one of our Green Bay shows.
And on Twitch TV, but I just want to recap our scores real quick. We have guys, the Bears winning 24-20. Plank has the Bears winning 25-23. Yeah. Tammy has the Bears winning 33-30. I have the Bears winning 38-33. Jay has the Bears losing 38-17. And Mike.
Hey, look, Jay, you got me going into witness protection, Jay. I don't even
see, know. And you know what? I take it from Goodwill.
Oh, who is Jay? Yeah,
you know my cousin Peebo.
Yeah, hey, I don't know no Jay. I don't know no Jay.
That was Bears.
That was hilarious, man.
I always get a chuckle out of that. Hey, we got another Facebook user that has the Bears winning. Was that 23-20?
Oh,
yeah, Alvin, who won it last year. What did Alvin give his score? He didn't give his score, but he said the best thing the Bears have going on for them is the young guys that showed up. Showed up on D?
On D.
Yeah,
they don't carry those losses. They don't have the hurdles to overcome. Bears win Sunday night. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. But like I said, the history. I go on history. Gonna fold like a lawn chair. Okay, I hope so.
4 sacks, at least 4 sacks.
Mr. Robinson.
But going off the history, it's hard to. History is history, and it's hard to not acknowledge that. But I hope I'm wrong. Y'all know. I hope I'm wrong.
I'll be gladly wrong.
I'll be gladly wrong.
I was talking to my son today, and I was thinking. I told him, I said, you know what? Because I was on Pick the Packers until me and him talked. And I said, you know what? This team feel like that team that Dick Gerard had that was 13-3. Where every bounce ball went their way. Where Mike Brown had 2 interceptions right at the end of a game. And to me, this team kind of, maybe I'm wrong. This team feels like that team where that team worked hard until that final whistle. They never stopped playing. And I always laugh about that interception one of Mike Brown got that he just ran straight to the locker room.
Straight to the locker room. Straight to the locker room.
Hey,
But the same thing
Tucker, we okay.
The Cubs had the same thing with the whole Jinx and the Black Cat, and they brought them young guys in. They like, Jinx, what's a Jinx? And there they go. He won a chip.
Tell me, what was you getting ready to say?
Do you remember the last song they sang in the Wiz?
In the Wiz? No, I don't know.
Feel a brand new Ain't nobody thinking about yesterday. We on the new road.
I hope y'all right. I hope y'all right. You know, because I actually picked the Bears in my confidence pool. Because I never root against the Bears in my confidence pool. But, you know.
Even if you put 1 point.
What are you doing?
But because it's bragging rights on the line, and I like to.
What are you doing?
Hey, I like to see my name scroll down here with some wins. So with bragging rights on the line
next week.
That ain't a confidence pool. I don't know what it is.
Your game your score gonna be 1-1 next week.
But seriously, like I say, because of the history, I'm picking the Packers because of the history. Yeah,
you do.
Rodgers, Mitch Adams, yeah, he do. He do. And it's gonna be, like I said, what's gonna happen to me, like I said, I think they're gonna go back to the same play. And if it's Jalen Johnson or Kendall Vildor or Christian Watson, if he dropped that ball or if it's incomplete, it's gonna be straight runs after that.
Hey, but you know what? Here's another thing too. And like I said, it's just from my standpoint, from a probability standpoint. If you look at a lot of games at Green Bay in like the last 2 or 3 years or whatever it was, where they were down and they just out of sync and couldn't do nothing, what ended up happening to get them back on their square? A pass completion to Devontae. He ain't got that no more. So now I hope, like in their respect, they hope the receivers hold on to the ball. There's certain nuances that Devontae has as a vet, future Hall of Famer. There's just a touch thing. I mean, Jay's a receiver. You know, if you got a quarterback you've been with for 3 or 4 years, you guys have had success. It's just certain stuff that just even goes unsaid. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna stand on it though, win, lose, or draw. But I say win, win, or win.
Okay. Hey, I'd like to thank everybody who's watching us on YouTube and Facebook. And if you're on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you're on Facebook, join the Bears Banter talk show group. Hey, any closing remarks before we get to this rivalry? We'll be on Sunday since it's a night game. It'll probably be almost about 10:30 when we come on Sunday. What anybody else got anything to say about this rivalry? I mean, I don't know. Maybe
gonna say something.
Oh, Jason. Okay.
The only thing I was really going to add to go for Guy was, they don't have Devontae anymore, but Aaron's got a history of finding a new guy when the guy he had moves on or goes. So I'm not saying it's going to happen tonight or tomorrow or Sunday or even next week, but he's going to find another guy. So
fair enough.
He's going to find another. He keeps finding them somehow. He keeps finding them, But other than that, the only thing I can say is go Bears.
Well, and I'm gonna tell y'all, if Alan Lazard come back this week, look for him to get about 10 or 11 targets because it's somebody that he trusts.
Is he trust? Yeah.
So look for him to get a lot of. If Lazard play, which I think he will, if he is 100%, we don't know. But if he play, he's gonna get 10 or 11 targets. But I'm looking for a heavy dose of the run game from the Green Bay Packers on Sunday.
Okay, Jay Sanders says no more new guys. Aaron time is coming to an end. I like that, Jay.
Who is that? I like him too. Who's that?
18 years, right?
Whose friend is that?
I think they are going to find a new guy. Aaron Rodgers is going to find a new guy. His name is Jaquan Brisker. So let's see how we come out.
Let's hope so.
It's not porous like they've been in past years. So let's see what it's looking like when we can hit somebody in the mouth.
And if they lose, they can say he was taking drugs again.
And I'm gonna say this last thing. Like I said, I was going back and forth with this game, and the only thing I envisioned was 2018, the last time the Bears played them on Sunday night, and the Bears went up like 20. What was it, like 20-3, and Aaron Rodgers got hurt, And then he came out the locker room like what's the basketball player name?
You talking about Willis Reed?
Willis Reed. You know, he came out the locker room limping, and then he came back and won the game.
Wasn't that the
yeah? But them dudes we got, if they knock him out the game, he gonna be gone.
But I'm hoping if we wind up getting the lead like that, then we can sustain it. So like I say, I'm back and forth on this. But it's hard to count our history, and it's hard to count our Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry, you know, it is what it is.
Boo! I'm sorry.
Boo! And why am I getting so much? Why am I getting so much Go Michigan on this Bears Banter podcast? What's up with that?
And you get trolled tonight.
Right. I'm like, why y'all trolling me? But it's cool. It's cool because they know.
5 Go Michigans in here, Jay.
but that's fine because they know Michigan beat Ohio State last year for the first time, and they can't even remember. So it's all good. It's all good because guess what? They got to come to the horseshoe this year.
The shoe.
And the Bears are gonna beat the Packers, and they're gonna keep beating them.
I hope so.
Yeah, it's time to start this back into a rivalry. You know,
yeah, it's time to turn the tide. It is.
Yeah, it's time to turn the tide. You know.
Problem is once Aaron's done and gone, Jordan Love ain't gonna be much more than what the Bears have had over the last decade.
Right.
So,
love Jordan.
Actual rivalry will be after Aaron's gone.
Right,
okay.
right.
Now they'll have our quarterback, right?
Hey, I'd like to thank everybody who tuned in tonight. So tune in on Sunday about 30 minutes after the game, and we can celebrate another Victory Sunday. Peace.
Yeah.